Hey everybody, good evening. My name's Ryan, and I wanted to make a video just expressing my exacerbation after a conversation with an older guy about COVID. We were talking about a lot of other things, but COVID came up, and he pulled the old, he still believes MSNBC from 3 years ago and CNN and all the lies that they said about COVID, even though we've seen the emails. They knew that they lied. We know that the death rate's gone up. We know kids are getting sick. We know people are getting the clogged up veins. There's evidence of all of this, and they've came out and admitted they lied about a bunch of it. They lied that it was safe. They lied that they did the right research on it. They lied about everything. They murdered people with those breathing machines. Outright murdered them. But that's not the point here. The point is this information is all available. We have all the world's information on a device that weighs, I don't know, a quarter of a pound maybe. Fits in our pocket. Mine runs like 24 hours a day. Constantly learning new things. And I know it's hard to distinguish between misinformation, malinformation, biased information, and correct information. I understand it's hard, and we all don't have time to research everything, but some of the basic building blocks of citizenship, of our society, of our government, of our medical industry, the is completely broken. The information is right out in the open and available for anybody to see, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand. You don't have to be a microbiologist to read enough of the COVID stuff to understand that they were lying. You can use their own documents, their own research papers, the published research. They did research on transmission of COVID and stopping it with the what are they, the M2 masks, the surgical masks, and they did a study and they said that you could stop the spread with one of those masks using it under surgical conditions, which means multiple masks. It means taping up as you're doing it, taping up with rubber gloves, and taping down. You go through complete surgical protocol for PPP. And then those masks would help prevent transmission for up to 15 minutes. And that's according to the CDC. It's according to published science. And then they came out and they told you that they would protect you. But people don't even want to know. They don't want to know they're being lied to. How do we fix that? What are we supposed to do about that when we have a nation full of people who don't want to know the truth and are continuing to try to burn the country to the ground because they're too scared to know and deal with reality? They're too scared of the implications of the fact that our government not only isn't working for us, but is working actively against us and is actively hurting and sometimes killing us. I know that's hard. That's hard to come to grips with if you grew up in America as a boomer. You thought America was the greatest thing ever. The very best people, the very best government. You got scammed. And the truth. This quote that's attributed to. Oh God, I can't even think of his name right now. Great American writer. But he's supposed to have said, "It's easier to fool a man than to convince a man he's been fooled." Mark Twain. Which isn't nobody can find where that comes from, and he probably didn't say it, but he does have a quote that says the same thing but with different words. And it really is a truism, regardless of who said it, when, and where. It is easier to fool a man than convince him he's been fooled. I've tried convincing a lot of people that they've been fooled and that everything they think they know is wrong. And I can prove it. There's like there's documents. I'm not talking about just stuff off like internet sites or something that Alex Jones said at one point, even though they are turning the frogs gay. But what do you do? What are we supposed to do as a country when we have kids who can barely read and can't do basic math but think they've got it all figured out? They can't tell you who Gentili is, but they are fully confident in their ability to designate someone a fascist, right? They have no idea who Mosley is, never mind would be able to spell his name. But they know who a fascist is. Franco who? I mean, and then we've got boomers who have been lied to their entire lives and are too scared to face up to it. That they will go with known lies, that they'll continue down the road to hell for their children and grandchildren, just so they don't have to deal with the emotional cognitive dissonance. And then, a lot of people just aren't able to understand. We live in a complex world. The human mind was meant to go hunt buffalo and make a fire. Weave a skirt, but this is a complicated world that moves really fast and people are really busy. There's not enough time for anybody to do complete research, and unfortunately, a lot of the people that we look to for expertise are ideologues, idiots, mentally ill. And you see it with, there's a group of scientists who have rallied a bunch of scientists around the world to try to replicate published research in different subjects. And in some subjects, anything having to do with the woke ideology, like with gender studies and all of that kind of stuff, over half of it isn't even replicable. It's not even technically good. It's not good science. It's bad science, but it's accepted science. Just like the transgender stuff came out of that one weirdo, and that whole thing was a lie too. But not everybody has the free time that I do. I get that. If I was working 3 jobs, I certainly wouldn't know half of what I know. But we're in a bind as a country. When people either don't want to know the truth, are unable to comprehend the truth, or have some or just outright want to lie because they think it'll bring in our the Marxist utopia in America. It's a problem, and it's a problem on the right and the left. I mean, the right gets fooled just as much as the left does. Trump came out recently. Of all the problems in this world, are the homeless people really the big problem? Are they really? I know they're a problem. I got a problem with the not the homeless people, but the drug addicts and the mentally ill people, severely mentally ill drug addicts, with the campsites in downtown, all over the West Coast and half of America right now. I got a problem with that scene. But is that our worst problem? No. That's a symptom of our problems. The real problems that most Americans won't face or outright support because they can't deal with the emotional outfall of facing reality, or they're not smart enough to figure it out, or they're just eating some kind of ideological goop, getting brainwashed by CNN, old CNN Cooper, CIA Cooper. But we're in a bind, people. I want to fix this country as much as possible before I walk on, which isn't going to be that far off. And but we got to figure out how to get people to face reality, whether they like it or not. I don't know how to do that. But thanks for listening. Hope everybody's having a good evening as the sun sets here in Southern California. I'd appreciate if everybody who prays would say a prayer for the people of Iran tonight. What's going on there is horrific, and they deserve better than what they've got. And hit all the buttons below. Like, subscribe, share, comment, call me names, tell me I'm wrong, ask me a question, ask for a specific topic to be talked about. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much. God bless.